YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. All new from H King. It's the Kitfox. Shown in 1.25, but also available in 1.1 by swapping out these magnetically attached tips that are about that long for the 1.1. But we'll show this. We put ours with flaperons, thrust reverse, and we're flying it on 2200 3S Turnigy 30-seat pack. Throttle cuts off AR631 Plus. We'll show the exhaustive on-box build radio setup as per usual. Here we go. Oh yeah. In the air, out of the takeoff flaps. They also included some washers. And the washers are used if you need to or want to. It's about 50% stick input on the throttle. If you need to or want to adjust 3S prop hang, are you kidding me? That's awesome. If you need to or want to adjust your thrust angle, but I will tell you this, I feel like it's thrusting exactly where it needs to thrust. That thing looks and sounds and feels very good. Needs about 2 or 3 clicks of trim on the rudder. Full landing flaps. Strangely effective for being weird flaperons. Ooh, got wonky at the top of that. By the way, no real battery management in terms of like holding it in. We had to come up with our own. We'll show you exactly how we did it in the unbox build radio setup. Look at that beautiful profile. Kind of slow and sluggish on the roll rate, but that's part of the reason why you've got the shorter wing tips. Feels a little bit understable. It's a little bit unusual in that regard. It's almost like, I think it might be the rudder. I'm trying to kind of work through it. Because with the AS3X Plus, might just turn my gains up a little bit. They're definitely on. A couple clicks of trim to the left, or excuse me, to the right now. It's not bad, it just feels a little bit wonky because of it. But goodness gracious, I love the way it looks. Guys, and I can't leave you hanging on grass ops here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some grass ops where we got power, because this is set up as a STOL plane. So now take off flaps in. Now landing flaps. Grass ops intentionally. Very good grass ops. That felt and looked great. Oh, also we have thrust reverse, so we'll demonstrate that on the next one. Okay, no flap takeoff. The weird thing is, guys, this is what I'm talking about. You get into a flight and it's rolling. See how it's rolling just real slow? It's ticking to the left. And I haven't been able to work that out. It's not like terrible. There's your thrust angle. Okay, take off flaps, landing flaps. Let's see if we can get this thing down in a hurry on pavement. Very soft tires, very nice tires. Woo! Didn't have enough yaw authority to correct for that. That was weird. Okay, so one thing I'm wondering about is we set up differential 50%, and then I set up 100%, but I'm gonna do 50% here. We'll try some grass ops for a takeoff here. Really good grass ops, guys. The flaps are sort of ineffective as configured, but man, that knife edge is glorious. Okay, out of the flaperons there, hard on the throttle. You gotta really control, the LEDs are subtle because they're not super bright. The green is better than the red. We noticed that inside. Ironically, there's actually wingtip lights on both sets. I'm gonna try to do a knife edge roll here. I'm not gonna probably complete that for fear of crashing, but still, not too bad. It's got good control authority. It's just slow on the roll rate. I could actually, a lot of coupling. So watch this. When I roll, see, it's like it wants to pull the whole plane into kind of a yaw. So you could get that fixed with some contrary mix on the rudder, but I just don't care. It flies good enough, like it feels good. I don't really have a problem with it. It's just got a lot of coupling.
You do have safe too.
Oh, and I have safe. Here's safe. Now check this out. I also set up panic. So I'm in safe. Here's takeoff flaps. So just flying along. If I let go of the sticks, it'll auto level. Now the cool thing is I set up, I'm back into AS3X mode. So watch this. I set up panic. I never set this up. So I get upset and then panic. Panic. Okay, so maybe I have to be in safe. Now I'm in safe. Oh yeah, there it is. So I'm in safe, panic. So I gotta figure out how to turn that so it's not coupled to safe. Because why would you need panic and safe? I mean, you need it in both, I guess. Tell you what, you're not gonna win any awards for Speed Demons. You see how much it comes off course when I did that roll?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it actually sits down nicely on the mains. I was not careful with that. Little contrary rudder to see if I could keep it straight. It did help. The trouble is you don't want to always have to do that. Not exactly gonna be a precision flyer, but it sure looks good doing what it's doing. See, and that's the thing. It's hard to articulate that in a video. I don't want to beat up this plane because I really actually enjoy the way it flies, but it just flies a lot different. And man, it is muggy out here too.
It is.
It's weird because it's not that hot. We've had some hot weather. And man, oh man, the yellow, white, and black look just fantastic.
Yep.
I love the way this plane looks. Man, it's just like drags along like nothing. It's like driving a radio-controlled car, folks. 1 minute on 8 here, folks. We do have a voltage alarm involved. I really want to try to get a clean stall turn. There it goes, beautiful. You know, the last plane we did was Pulse 2200 from Cavan, and that thing stall turned terrible, which is surprising because you wouldn't think it of a sailplane. And after having flown this plane for a few minutes, I can definitely see where some of you are gonna wanna go ahead and take advantage of putting in the handful of washers on the prop mounts. Because you know what? It's gonna get that thrust angle worked out perfect. But honestly, I just think the average Joe is not gonna care. It flies good. It's just got a little bit more wonkadelic behavior because those trailing edge flaperons that are customary on the Kitfox. I think that's what's going on. And boy, oh boy, wow. It really does. Like even back and forth from the runway, that is pretty good. By the way, we are elapsed on our time from 8 minutes. But you see what I'm talking about? It knife edge is great. You got so much rudder authority. And by the way, we're on the outside hole on that, I think. Or wait, did I just throw it on the inside hole because I felt like it?
No, I thought we did an outside hole on both.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I honestly cannot remember. But even at slow speeds, guys, it just knife edges so gloriously.
Looks really nice.
I love the way it looks. Let's do another clean loop. Split ass, sorry. So here on Brian Phillips RC, we really like to tear into these planes if they're anything less than desirable. And I'll tell you this plane definitely made us work for it a little bit more than we wanted to on the build. But I can tell you right now, I really am enjoying flying this plane. Reminds me a little bit of the Grand Tundra. Of course, we've only done the Grand Tundra too. Let's come over here to the edge here, camera crew. That's good. The cool thing about this plane that I'm just kind of connecting the dots on is it's not big, but it's got big presence, but you can fly it in a tight environment. Now take off flaps. By the way, that is a tree right there. And it's weird, I've been in takeoff flaps for a long time and I just realized I was. So now I'm out of the flaps altogether. Move the windsocks, make it a J.
Mm-hmm.
But you see what I'm talking about? Like you can just use up the environment because it's not so fast that it's so, there's so many of these planes we have are so overpowered right now that you need a gigantic flying environment for them. This plane is just great for small fields. Let's do it right here. Because we can. And look, even going on and off of the runway, it's like no problem. And then short field ops, no problem at all. This guy's trying to watch. Where's the manned aircraft? You see it?
Way back down that
Sure
way.
it's not a powered paraglider?
I'm
yeah.
sure. I see him. He's way away.
I have a friend who likes to pop in a paraglider and I don't want to cause an accident, so I got to be very careful about that. And this is the type of night he would do that, Kevin would. And make me jealous, even though I've got one on the other side of that garage door. Guys, we're going on like 12 minutes probably.
Yeah, pretty close.
Oh, crap. Okay. I am out of power, so watch yourself. I'm trying to get lined up for a better approach. It went to a low voltage protection of the motor. Okay, slowing down my throttle. There it is, guys. And that's dead. Brian Phillips RC,
Okay.
full use of the battery pack. 3 minutes 48:49 plus 8. So we're talking about almost 12 minutes of flight time. I would say conservatively, you could set your timer to 10 minutes on 2200 3S. And this thing definitely at 3.3 volts, it shuts itself off. So I went to about 50% throttle. I am not a big fan of low voltage cutoff. I don't mind a pulse. I don't want to lose a plane over a low battery. I'd rather lose a battery over a low battery. But let's go ahead and unplug this for the sake of obnoxiousness. We can give you a shot. We did add this tape. 10.2, yeah, that's gone. 3.39, 3.25, and 3.53. Obnoxious. I had to make this little apparatus here. And this little apparatus, I'm gonna unplug. This little apparatus helps to hold the battery in, and it worked flawlessly, along with 2 blocks that actually sandwich everything in there. Now, I will tell you this, that motor is hot, 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 hot. I mean, really hot right now. And so is this battery. So if you're gonna fly it like I did, you might wanna think about putting a 50C pack in there. Touch this.
Oh, yeah,
That's as hot as I've had that thing ever. So what I'm gonna do is, for storage, I'm gonna take and lift up these leads, and I'm just gonna stuff this under there so that I remember where it is. And that little bit of down pressure is gonna hold that and preserve it for the next time I'm ready to fly. 2200 3S Turnigy pack. And what a cool airplane from H-King. This, of course, being the Kitfox. And a couple things to note about it is really a pretty plane. It goes together okay, but the difficulties come from everything being mounted on the wing in our application. Because you've got this nice big access here, but even bigger where the wing is. Here's the catch. You have to undo this, and you have to undo this, and then you have to undo the wing struts, which are very heavy duty. So 2 screws plus 2 screws. You can take it off, but it does have a tail light, okay? It has LEDs on both wingtips And because it comes with 2 sets of wingtips, you technically have 5 LEDs. And I mean, it's just a gorgeous, well done model. Where does this model fail? I don't know. I think it does such a good job at what it does that it's hard to say that there's one particular area where it needs to be better. My biggest complaint is there's not a place to put the battery built by the manufacturer. Now, they do provide 2 different strips of Velcro, one about yay long and then one about yay long, okay? So you could just as well use that if you wanted, but I would suggest you check your center of gravity and make sure that everything is gonna work out before you commit to that point, okay? That's the center of gravity point there. It's kind of right on this edge. There's a little edge here where they have this inboard, see that seam? It's just inside of there. And I did think that that was a little bit forward, but the thing is you put your battery in there and it works out pretty good on 2200 3S. Now, if it weren't for that, and the build weren't complicated because of the wing assembly, I would say this is a great plane. But for a beginner, those things might be a little bit challenging. Is it hard to fly? No. But is it easy to fly? Also, maybe not as easy as I want it to be for a beginner. It felt great to me. I really enjoyed flying it. But with those lower ailerons, I don't know if they call that a Fowler aileron. They hang down low. And it's just a different aerodynamic effect. It kind of spoils the way that the flaps would ordinarily work on a flaperon equipped airplane. And so it's just a different feel. And like I said, I don't want it to be a bad thing in your consideration, but it is definitely a different feel when it's flying. Again, not bad, but just different. And I like planes that fly different. I mean, when you've flown hundreds of planes, you kind of want them to be a little bit different, each plane, because that's part of the experience of RC airplanes, is that plane 1 flies different than plane 2, compared to plane 3, compared to plane 372, compared to plane 479. It's just fun. I hear another plane. I was just curious.
I don't see him yet.
So the Kitfox from H-King is well done. I like the 1220, the 1250 millimeter wing length. I don't think it's gonna make a big enough difference to really matter, but we could swap out the wings and I'll show you how hard it would be. Pull this out, they come out, and then you unplug this cable. So now you could also just do that and you could fly just like that. But I think we have enough light that we'll go ahead and pop the wings off. We'll go through on the other ones and we'll load a second battery for a side-by-side comparison and come right back. So the shorter wingtips, just make sure you get black lined up with black. Plug it in. I actually hadn't planned on doing this, so this worked out pretty good. Beautiful evening. Thanks for being here with us on Brian Phillips RC. If you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, this is kind of how we do things. We do an unbox build radio setup. We show the entire process, start to finish, up to and including all of our frustrations. And then you guys get to make your decision as to whether or not you think a plane is worth buying. When you do decide, buy it from the links in the video description below. And what happens is you'll be telling the manufacturer that we helped you close the deal because you were on the fence, or we maybe introduced you to the plane in general. And not that we've done anything so fantastic just because we helped you set up a plane once, but it's not just one, it's hundreds of planes. And so even if we don't help you on this particular plane, we would love it if we could help you on another plane. Maybe the next one's the one you need help with. We've been doing it for so long that we think we can probably bring you some value, okay? Voltage alarm, negative, plug it in. Now this time we may not make it all the way to the dead battery because we're gonna lose daylight, but I'm just showing you exactly how I load the battery so that you can copy Don't get into that prop shaft. Push this back. And then you're ready to rock and roll once you lay that down. And see what's gonna happen is we have protections built in this mount technique because the battery is trapped and then this is trapped by the lid to a certain extent. Okay, so we'll press that down. Now, 8 minutes is probably an appropriate amount of time for this. This is what they would call the sport flying mode. So you remember how it rolled kind of slow? Let's see how it does now. Okay, take off flaps. I really like the grass hop, so we're gonna do that again. Full up elevator. Still looks good. Still feels pretty solid. I don't feel out of control. I don't feel like I'm giving anything up flight performance wise. Knife edge is a little bit different. Pretty awesome on 3S that you can pull out of that, guys. Out of the throttle. I think it looks a little dumber because I like the way it looks with the longer wing. I think it looks more realistic. But again, to all their own. Tons of elevator. You can go both directions, no problem. So you don't have to feel like you're gonna lose it because you're upside down. In terms of sportiness, I guess I wouldn't necessarily write anything home like it's so much more sporty now. I'm gonna come out of AS3X Plus. And then I'm gonna just fly it like I stole it here. Back to AS3X Plus now. So here's the weird thing. I'll definitely tell you this. I like the way it looks better with the longer wings, but I know a lot of you guys that have Timbers, you like the Timber X a lot, and you dislike the Timber 1.5. There is not nearly that big of a difference between this in the shorter 1100 millimeter and the longer 1250 millimeter. It's just not that big of a difference. Is it a difference maker for somebody that wants to have a little bit more 3D performance? I don't know, maybe. But I'll be honest with you, I think the way we have ours set up, at least, it flies good with the long wing. And the fact that you can prop hang on a 3S pack, a 30C 3S pack in a plane this size is pretty dang awesome, I gotta say. And it feels resilient and it feels trustworthy. That's one of the things about planes is like you get into these crazy planes and you just feel almost out of control. And I'm not talking about skill, I'm talking about control authority, I'm talking about smoothness of output. And I mean, I can say from personal experience that the servos that they used in this plane are probably nothing to write home about. I mean, they're okay, they get the job done. But they've done a good job of making an economical offering that's gonna give people the look that they want and the feel that they want for a very reasonable budget. Okay, upside down. And you know what? At the end of the day, is that what everybody needs? No. But are there a lot of people that need that? Heck yes, there are. And whatever it takes to get people in and stay in this hobby is what I want to help produce. And I gotta say, it feels really good. Like, it feels solid. I am surprised how solid it feels. I thought for sure on the smaller wings that it would just be a really poopy feeling. But it just isn't. It just holds its own. I mean, look how nice it goes along the horizon, hon.
I know.
Right over the treetops. It just feels resilient. Even upside down for extended periods of time. I don't do a lot of upside down flying. It's just not my cup of tea. I prefer to keep that thing loaded like a real plane would be. Do a little touch and went. It definitely does have a pitch. And it's definitely got a lot of coupling. If it weren't for the coupling, I think you could maybe enjoy a little bit more 3D easier. But it's like, if you want to keep crispy lines with rolls involved, you're not probably going to get that. And I don't think that's a thrust angle thing. I think that's the trailing edge flaperon thing speaking. But also, I think that's why knife edge is so dang good. Full landing flaps here. It just, you don't lose anything with the flaperons down. It's so unusual. That's full flaperons right there. Oh, and I had 50%. Dang it. I'm sorry, folks. I had my differential on. But even still, that's full roll right now. So it didn't really impact things much. Okay, now 100% differential. Oh man, that's a big difference. Okay, so you definitely don't want differential. So I would say the differential is not so good for this plane. Man, that's so cool looking. So H-King, I gotta say, as much as I was kind of annoyed with like aspects of the build, it actually went together pretty good. And then having thrust reverse, that was wonky as heck. I did have 2 really wonky landings, but I had plenty of good ones. Let's get some good ones on pavement. Okay. No, I wasn't gonna land right there. I know you were thinking I was gonna do it.
No.
I wanna go over here so we have better lighting. I'll bring it down here, do kind of a weird landing circuit. Nope, you're fine. Full landing flaps. I mean, it's just kind of like a well done plane. It's just like all the stuff works, kinda. The thrust angle it's okay, it's not perfect, but it works. Throttle cuts on, by the way. And the flaperons, that trailing edge, trailing link, whatever you want to call that, you know, where they're way back there doing weird stuff, it's cool because it stays true to what a Kitfox would be in real life, but I just don't know if it adds anything to the flight performance for us in RC, you know what I mean? So like, do I want it? Yes. Does it help? Probably not. See, that was pretty clean. See what I'm talking about? It always kind of like induces, it always pulls that nose around. By the way, this is why you have a taillight, folks. Look at that white taillight. So devastatingly helpful. What do you think, hon?
I think it looks really good.
I'm enjoying flying it. It's very fun.
Yeah.
So Hobby King, good job on the plane. Maybe next time you could tell us about it before it releases, so we could have something prepared. And you could just kind of make it do whatever you want. It's weird. And it doesn't seem to like really stall or anything. So I want to show you guys a stall. Oh, we're at 8 minutes and 30. I don't want to push it. So let's show you a stall with the short wings, okay? So power off, pulling back on the stick. There it is. Tips to the side a little teeny bit. Now, for grins, we're gonna do a power on stall this time. Bring it back here where you can see it. Okay? Let's get about 25% throttle. Let's put down the flaps. Okay, power on stall. Elevator all the way back. Look at that. AS3X, thank you. All I did was just give a little contrary aileron, took it right out of that. Okay, now we're gonna try it again. I'm gonna show you without AS3X. AS3X is off. Full landing flaps, out of the power, 10% power, full up elevator, that's your stall. Ah, it ain't bad for no stabilizer. AS3X Plus is back on. Man, look at that silhouette. Full landing flaps on the way downhill. All right, let's land this thing before we run out of juice. Takeoff flaps only now. Let's do grass ops. We cannot land with that. We cannot end with that. Let's take back off from the hill. We'll come back up here into the front. Full landing flaps now. Slowing it down, a little bit of slip. Oh yeah, beautiful. Guys, what a joy to fly. What a fun plane. We love being involved with this hobby. We love helping bring joy to you guys, to your lives. And we're so happy that these companies have decided to work with us, even though we tell the full truth. Nothing but the truth, so help us God, mixed in with a little bit of Brian Phillips's opinion. Because at the end of the day, my opinion might be wrong sometimes, according to your opinion. And so in matters of opinion, the customer is always right, okay? Just don't forget that first part. I think that where this plane fails, it makes up for in features, okay? You have thrust reverse, you have forward thrust, you have full length flaperons if you want. You don't have to do any modifications to get that. You just don't put the the Y cable in. It's got LEDs out of the box. It's got all the stuff we ask for all the time. It's got soft, squishy tires. It's got splaying landing gear that actually pretty much work. I didn't think they would. I thought they'd break on the first landing, but they look fine to me. And frankly, it's got a good prop match. It's got good performance. I think it is going to tend to be a battery chewer. So I would go from a 30C maybe to a 50C if you can tolerate it. And I think I'm gonna fly mine with the longer wings because I don't feel like the shorter wings added anything at all, except for a little bit more irregular look. I like the longer wings. It looks more scale to a full Kitfox. And I think it flies every bit as good. So that's what I think. But what do you think? Leave it in the comments below. Let us know what you thought of this new H-King offering, the Kitfox 1.1, 1.25. Which size you like better. And after you've watched the Unbox Build Radio setup, what are your concerns? Because we had some, I wonder if you'll share them. AR631 Plus was a perfect fit in this model. I think it would have been major, massive overkill to go to the 637T. But if you have one laying around, go for it. Also got to say, having a voltage alarm in there was a super easy alternative to having to run a not a USB, but a micro PH 1S plug back to that XT60. That would have been a pain in the butt on this plane. And I don't think it would have added much of anything.
No.
Because I mean, 8-10 minutes of flight time, you should be safe on a 2200. By the way, they do suggest 1800 to 2200, but then on the quick start guide, they suggest 2200. So I wonder if maybe they had some reservations about the 1800 and that you can't quite achieve the center of gravity. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. But also be careful, the prop shaft sticks out a lot from this motor. Don't get your leads into the prop shaft, okay? But good job, Hobby King. It's another good offering. Took a little more work than I wanted, but that seems to be a little bit customary of the Hobby King products. And, you know, if you've got a little bit more spare time, I think that's not going to be a big deal. It wasn't like a particularly hard thing. It was just kind of like awkward with the wings and, you know, getting the camera to film stuff. But that's an us thing, not necessarily a you thing. If you're not filming it, who cares? Again, leave it in the comments below. Let us know what you think about this product offering. I am curious to hear what you guys got to say about it. That being said, we really appreciate you being here on Brian Phillips RC. We put a lot of ourselves into these videos. It's not just time, it's preparation off camera. It's time away from family during our very limited free time at this stage of life. Obviously, we're building the damn gift shop. Lots of big, expensive construction projects that just seem to be endless. And it's crazy how fast you can trip over $10,000 in a project like this. So if you're wondering where all the RC earnings are going, they're going right back into RC, okay? RC and full-scale aviation. I love this hobby so much that I'm insane enough to have not just one, but 3 runways on my property. And there'll probably be more at some point. That doesn't include grass strips. I love this hobby. My family has helped give me the ability to bring you guys this aerodrome, this experience. And we really appreciate it because we couldn't have done it without you. But I could have done it without the blessing of my family, particularly my wife and camera crew. So special thanks to camera crew for letting this happen. Special thanks to Hobby King and Spectrum and all the different companies that we work with over the years. We really appreciate you being a part of our world because you're helping us to help you do a better job for our customers who watch, okay? We want you guys to have the best crack at success. And as I get deeper and deeper and deeper into this hobby, I hope that you guys will at least stick a toe in the very deep water of RC aviation, okay? We'll help get you there. If you're brand new to the hobby, you're in the right place. If you're returning to the hobby, you're in the right place. Brian Phillips RC is where it's at. We're gonna get you start to finish. We're gonna get a box. We're gonna open it up. We'll show you every single step in our unbox build radio setup to get at least as good a performance as what you saw in this video. Could you do more? Sure. Could you do it different? Even more so. But we wanna give you a basic starting point to build on. We'll get you there. And then what you do with it, you can keep adding scoops of delicious toppings to that sundae until it exactly meets your fancy. If you go to brianphillipsrc.com, you can find competitive offerings. They're gonna help you compare and contrast this exact experience against that exact experience. And you can make a judgment call. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what your budget is. We don't know what you love and hate, but we do know what we love and hate. And we just wanna provide you an A-B comparison of an insane amount of different offerings, okay? So that's bprc.me, hit enter. It'll take you there on your browser bar. Or www.brianphillipsrc.com, same place. One's a short link, one's a long link. You gotta spell my name right on the one. On the other, you just spell the acronym, okay? Also, look in the links of the video description below. Number one way you can support Brian Phillips RC is by watching, liking, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and all those things. But secondarily, when you buy from the links, it helps us to support and uphold our relationships with these vendors, merchants, manufacturers that build these planes, and let us tell you our opinion about them voluntarily. It's crazy. You got to be special kind of crazy to build foam planes. You got to be even crazier to let Brian tell me what's wrong with it, okay? Sorry, it's under your ear. So at the end of the day, thanks for working with us, guys. Help us keep those relationships alive. Buy from the links. You'll help them know that our opinion makes a difference in your decision making. That's how you can help. Also, we make a few bucks on it as affiliates. We do that with all the different competitive brands, so you know we're still telling the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God, because I don't care if you buy this Hobby King product, or if you buy a product from Spectrum, or if you buy a product from China Hobby Line, or you buy a product from FMS, or you buy a product from Dancing Wings, or you buy a product, we don't care. We got links for all these things. We put them back to back. But we do want to be fair to the partners that work with us, okay? So if they make garbage, we will display garbage. If they make good, we will display good. And hopefully I don't crash into that tree over there. Seems to be a popular one. Or that tree there, which is another popular one. So at the end of the day, I want to do my best to help guide this hobby in a way that's sustainable and you guys love, okay? Leave it in the comments if you think we're doing an all right job. If it's constructive criticism, we want to hear it. If it's negative criticism, get the hell out. But beyond that, we love doing this. Guys, you have been so supportive of us over the years. So thank you. And I wasn't just joking about that last one. We don't need losers here. If you guys don't love this hobby, just go do something easier. This is a hard hobby. If you're here to bash people, just go bash some other hobby, okay? This hobby is hard. We need to uplift each other, help each other out. I want people to know how to do this that don't know how to do it tomorrow, that didn't today. And the best way we can do that is do it together, okay? So let's do it in the comments below. Let's support each other, encourage each other. and let's have a great time because this hobby is awesome. And truth be told, there's a million other ways you can spend your hard-earned money. You can spend your time. But what other way can you have a healthy, family-friendly high like this with your grandpa and your grandson at the same time? I mean, there's a few things you could do, but I'll be honest with you. I feel like this is super fulfilling, and I know you guys will love it too. So stay tuned, so much more. Buy planes from the links, support Brian Phillips RC, and multiple other ways. Super thanks for one-time donations, PayPal for one-time donations, or you can be members with monthly support through YouTube members or Patreon. Any of those are always appreciated, but our best support comes from selling these planes when you do like them. So if you see them, you like them, follow the links. That's how it works. They know that we sent you there. Maybe we helped to close the deal, or we helped kind of push you there because you didn't know it existed in the first place. But at the end of the day, look at this beautiful sunset, guys. Look at this. This is what we look at. We just had some people overnight, or not overnight, the other night, and we had an even more gorgeous sunset. But just being able to be here and fly airplanes is such a blessing. So we are so glad to be here, and we are so glad to share it with you. So stay tuned. There's so much more right around the corner. Thanks for watching, and come back for more.